YouTube has been really hard on me lately, so I'm launching memberships. If you wish to support me and my content, please consider joining my memberships. $2.99 will give you access to emojis and I'll reply to your comments. At $5.99, you will gain early access and get a shout out at the beginning of each video. Coming soon, I am launching a Patreon, which I will update everyone when that will be available. Now, onto the video. It was a crime that gained national attention. Multiple news agencies spoke of it, yet no one remembers it. While similar crimes have been committed that seared into the minds and hearts of a nation, what happened in Binghamton on April 3rd, 2009 should be talked about. Binghamton, New York is known as the Parlor City, the carousel capital of the world, and the Valley of Opportunity. It is part of the Triple Cities area of the southern tier of New York State. Endicott and Johnson City make up the other two cities. It is the county seat of Broome County, and it has a rich history. Special effects artist Rick Baker, actress Bridget Moynihan, BC and Wizard of Id artist Johnny Hart all came from Binghamton, but its most famous son is Rod Serling. Though born in Syracuse, New York, Rod Serling, the creator of The Twilight Zone, was raised in Binghamton. IBM was founded in the area, in Endicott. Lockheed Martin has offices there, and the fifth oldest zoo in the United States is located in Binghamton. Also, I'm not sure if they're still doing it. If you found a piece of trash on the ground, you can pick it up and take it to one of the carousels in the city and ride it for free, which is an interesting way to get kids to support a cleaner city. The American Civic Association Center in Binghamton houses an immigration center, where immigrants could go to learn English, to find work, and other amenities. But on April 3rd, 2009, it would be the location of a shooting. At 10:30 a.m. on the morning of April 3rd, 2009, a man would park his car in front of the rear doors of the building. The car was registered to his father. Wearing a bulletproof vest, a green nylon jacket, and dark-rimmed glasses, the man would enter the building, carrying inside the Civic Center a 9mm Beretta and a .45 caliber Beretta. Two receptionists were stationed in the main foyer. He shot one in the head, and then 61-year-old Shirley DeLucia in the shoulder. DeLucia would contact 911 as the man entered a classroom where English classes were being held. He opened fire. Out of the 16 people in the room, 13 were seriously injured. Those who were not wounded, he took as hostages. Kay Gruss, a teacher, was in a separate classroom downstairs in the sublevels when she heard the sounds of gunfire. She was also teaching English to immigrants, but in a separate part of the building, and she knew the area well. When she heard the shots, she rushed her 26 students into the boiler room and shut the door, making her a hero for saving 26 lives that day. Police got to the Civic Center within minutes. The police headquarters is not far away from the Civic Center. The Civic Center is located on Front Street, while the police station is located next to the courthouse on Howley Street. The time to travel from the station to the Civic Center is 4 minutes. Binghamton police surrounded the Civic Center, also having surrounded Binghamton High School as it was close by. At 11:13, SWAT entered the building. They had tried to make contact with the assailant, but there was no answer. With nothing left to do, SWAT entered the building, swept through each room, and found the man dead. He had heard the sirens, and he self-deleted. Was this the work of a man who was against immigrants coming to this country? Was it a disgruntled former employee? The answer to both is no. The man who entered the building that day with murderous intent was an immigrant. 40-year-old Jiverly Wong, a naturalized citizen originally from Vietnam. Before we continue, I'm going to attempt to pronounce names correctly. I only know how to speak English, and even that is poor at times. So be prepared to laugh at my horrible attempts at names. Jiverly Wong was born in South Vietnam in 1967. His family were ethnic Chinese who immigrated to the U.S. in the 1980s. In 1992, he moved to Los Angeles, where he would get in trouble with the law for fraud. In 1995, he became a citizen of the United States. A year later, he registered a gun in Broome County before leaving the United States for Canada. This guy didn't stay in one place for very long, and it seemed like he was mostly directionless in his life. In 1999, he returned to the United States and registered a second firearm in Inglewood, California. He would marry a woman named Zhu Ping Zhang and settle for a while as a sushi delivery man. But it didn't take him long before he moved again. This time in 2007, after divorcing his wife and moving to Binghamton to be around his parents. The thing is, no one in Inglewood, California had any idea he left. He left without telling his employer. He just upped and moved. When he returned to New York, he got a job at Endicott Interconnect Technologies, where he worked as an engineer, till the company laid off 5% of its employees. He ended up working for IBM in 2008, though IBM claims that they have no information that he was working there. He might have gone through a temp agency, because he also worked at ShopVac until the plant closed in 2008. Both companies hired temps through a temp agency, so if he had worked at IBM, he might not be listed as an employee of them, but whatever temp agency he was going through. Months before the shooting, Wong had been going to the Civic Center for English classes. Though he had been in the country since the 1980s, his English was very broken. He barely could speak the language, and that was a sore spot for him, but his attendance was sporadic. Then in March, he stopped going altogether. So it was a surprise when he showed up on April 3rd, 2009. The people in the building had never harmed or treated him poorly. As he entered the classroom, he could hear the sirens. The police had summoned Broome Community College assistant professor Tong Hong Nguyen to the scene. Knowing that Wong was Vietnamese, they asked Nguyen to interpret for them due to the language barrier, but it was too late. Wong was dead, and it left many unanswered questions. After the shooting, things got more muddled. The Taliban took credit for it. One of the members of the Taliban stated, "They were my men. I gave them the orders in reaction to U.S. drone attacks," which was quickly refuted. For one, I don't think Wong was a Muslim. Second, there was only one man and no evidence to support a theory that he was a part of a larger group. Simply put, he was an angry man lashing out in a violent way. As the Binghamton police chief at the time, Joseph Zikuski, said, from the people closest to him, this action he took was not a surprise to them. Jiverly Wong was a lone gunman. He had no bad blood with any of his victims. He was considered by people who knew him as a quiet and non-violent person, the last person you would think that would kill another human being. Yet he had. What caused him to snap and caused him to murder 13 innocent people? The leading theory was his depression due to not being able to keep a job and his poor language skills. Due to his struggles, Wong had grown to hate the country that took him in, allegedly telling people who he worked with at ShopVac that America sucks. He made derogatory remarks about then-President Barack Obama. The same day as the shooting, television station News 10 Now in Syracuse received a disturbing package. Inside were photos of Wong, smiling and holding guns, his driver's license, his gun license, and a 2-page letter. The letter proved how far Wong had slipped mentally. It was rambling, and at times incoherent. This wasn't due to his lack of knowledge of the English language, as he in the letter apologized for his poor English skills. In it, he claimed that police taunted him, tortured him, and harassed him. He also wrote this chilling statement. He wrote that he could not accept his poor life, and that before he ended his poor life, he was going to take at least 2 people with him. He had planned what happened in the American Civic Association Center. He had planned to not walk out of that building. This was no big statement on the government. This wasn't about religion. This wasn't about sexual preferences. No, it was a man who was mentally sick, who decided that he wanted to make others suffer alongside him.
I hope that all of this community will get together to reach out, have a full understanding of each ethnic group, and something positive will come out of this.
If you look up on YouTube the Binghamton American Civic Association Center shooting, you cannot find much besides newsreels on it. But 13 people lost their lives that day. 4 were injured, and their story seems to have faded into history. There's part of me that wonders if this has to do with the fact that most of the victims were immigrants. I don't like thinking like that, because it makes me feel that if that is the case, the media is more screwed up than I thought. Part of me doesn't want to dig too deep into why it was forgotten. I just wonder why true crime YouTubers who cover some of the most horrific crimes have not done a video on this. Do they even know about it? I feel like I'm the first person to bring this up on this platform. Here's a quote from a former mayor of Binghamton on why it was forgotten. It's kind of a mystery why Binghamton isn't a part of the mass shooting lexicon, which I am glad about in some ways. It's not necessarily what you want to be known for, and I agree to a point. I want it to be known for the carousels, as the home of Rod Sterling, Ross Park Zoo, baseball, hockey, the arts district, and of course, the mostly friendly atmosphere of the people who live there. But at the same time, I feel the people who lost their lives should be remembered. Parveen Ali, age 26, an immigrant from northern Pakistan. Almir Alves, age 43, a Brazilian PhD in mathematics and visiting scholar at Binghamton University, attending English classes at the Civics Association. Mark Henry Bernard, age 44, an immigrant from Haiti. Maria Sonia Bernard, age 46, another immigrant from Haiti. Li Gao, age 47, a visiting scholar from China. Lan Ho, age 39, an immigrant from Vietnam. Layla Khalil, age 53, an Iraqi mother of 3 children. Roberta King, age 72, an English language teacher who was substituting for a vacationing teacher and who had also substituted at local schools for many years. Zhang Ling, age 22, an immigrant from China. Hongzhu Amy Mao Marsland, age 35, a nail technician who immigrated from China in 2006. Dolores Shigal, age 53, an immigrant from the Philippines. Hai Hong Zhang, age 54, an immigrant from China. Maria Zobina, age 60, a part-time caseworker at the Civic Association, whose parents were from the Ukraine. They were all killed by Jiverly Wong. Shirley DeLucia, age 61, the Civic Association receptionist who feigned death and contacted the police. Long Hyun, age 42, a Vietnamese immigrant whose wife, Lan Ho, was killed. Hyun tried to shield her with his body, but a bullet had shattered Hyun's elbow and ricocheted, striking and killing his wife, and 2 others were wounded. Now you know their names. Let's never forget them.